We hadn't even planned it, you know, it just happened that way.
Yeah. Well,
Might take a minute to warm up.
this was a real surprise. Neil Johnson and Ivan's here this morning. And so now he's going to talk to you, Paul, just like if you was here, and tell you about his life in Montana and things like that. Hey.
Well, we lived, the wife and I lived in New Mexico for, well, she was there longer than I was. I guess I met her in New Mexico, although she's really from Colorado, a little town called Cripple Creek up by Pikes Peak, near Colorado Springs. And well, she spent most of her life in New Mexico. Her dad had a sawmill down the southern part of the state, and we got acquainted in Farmington after her husband passed away from cancer. He was quite a heavy smoker, and one thing led to another, and then I guess he discovered the cancer in the fall, and it was gone by the first of the year. And she lost her dad within 2 months of that time also. But we got acquainted in New Mexico. I was city chemist there. I had worked for the water treatment plant for 3 or 4 years, and then I got the job as chemist because of my college background. I guess we got tired of the big town. They were building condominiums within a couple blocks of us, and it seemed like a lot of traffic to get to work, even though it was only about 6 miles from where we lived to the water treatment plant. The wife and I were talking one day about how we should get a business and then just move out of town, get out of town, find some place where we could live right by our store. And we didn't know what kind of business we would end up with. We thought we would tell the realty about that, and well, 21st Century Realty will get you whatever you want. We gave them our names, and then we listed the states where we would be interested in moving. And one of them was Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we talked about Idaho, and we talked about, well, possibly Washington, Utah. Now I finally said, well, don't forget about Montana, include it too. So, well, lo and behold, a few weeks later, we got a letter through the mail from Missoula, Montana, the 21st Century Realty up there. And they described the store and the house where we now have been staying for 11 years. And so I arranged to take a weekend off. I had some vacation days coming, so we took the little girl, that was Priscilla. She was about 5 at that time.
Is that your daughter?
That would be her daughter.
Her daughter.
My stepdaughter.
I see. Uh-huh.
She had 2 others,
Mm-hmm.
one son and then one other daughter. But we just took the one little girl with us and looked it over one time, and well, let's go into town. Let's pay our earnest money down, and this is the closest thing to what we wanted that we've seen. So there was a gentleman that was 80-some years old at the time that owned it, and he had raised his family there. And I guess his kids decided that he should retire. He was failing a little bit, and so they kind of crowded him into selling it out. So we bought it, and well, we've been there ever since. I've been back to Indiana, possibly as many as, I flew back twice. I've probably driven back 4 or 5 times. I guess I never got here right at
No,
the
that's
time.
the first time I've seen you.
Yeah.
I'd hear about that you'd been here.
Yeah, I didn't get around to everybody, and well, time gets away so fast.
I know.
I think, well, I'll do that sometime, and then, well, maybe you never do it.
I know. Well, now, what do you have in your store?
Well, it's just a general store, like one of these little mom and pop store types.
A few groceries.
And now the other owner had a lot of hardware. He had work clothes for sale. I don't have work clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But he had some tools and, well, just like a general store would of the old days. I mean, you could buy, well, back when he first opened up, that would be way back. He used to take gold dust for groceries. I mean, they'd bring a little gold dust.
Is that right?
You know, the miners would, and then he'd weigh out their dust and then give them so many groceries.
Well, now, do they still find any gold there?
Well, not very much. You have would-be miners and gold panners that go up. Usually those are just tourists coming through. And then you have a few people in Montana that think they want to go out and find some gold, but it's not that simple.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of hard work, long hours, and it's real fine stuff. You'd have to have some way of extracting it.
Oh.
And mostly it would take a lot of time. Now, they used to do a lot of mining when that ghost town of Pioneer up above us there a few miles was operating. They did a lot of mining, but they worked hard, long hours. Some of the residents there tell me about it, some of the old timers.
I'll bet.
One gent there that's 80 years old, and he can tell you about how they used to mine at Pioneer. That town is all it's all gone now, except for just the remnants of a few buildings. I go up past that on my way to get firewood. We burn wood.
Do ya? Well, Paul does too. He's got
And
a
we
little.
burn wood in the store and in the house.
But of course, he don't need very much wood.
No, not-
You know, it
not
don't
in
get very
North-
cold.
Not in South Carolina.
No, but he uses air conditioning. That's where he has his light bills. It's really
That's right,
high.
You would have to because
Oh
it's
yeah.
warmer there.
You just they've got it on already, you know, and you just can't stand it. Can't sleep or anything without that. So his light bills are really high in the summer.
I suppose the humidity there is pretty high.
Well, it was when we was down there, but right now it's awful dry there. They're really needing rain bad.
I guess they have their share of drought too. We've had droughts. Of course, we would be in a country where they'd have more droughts than they would in Carolina or Indiana. I mean, one year it was just so brown, we were afraid that somebody was going to throw a cigarette out and start a fire.
Well, we had that. I think maybe it was 88 that we didn't. We had 90-degree temperatures from May almost till September, and we got hardly any rain that year.
Yeah, that would be tough.
That was awful. But I was going to tell you, when I was down there at Paul's, the potatoes are ready to dig. They're digging them, and they have sweet corn, you know, all in tassel and getting ears on it. So that's how much ahead they are. Their peas was all pulled, you know, they're gone already. And
Well, my peas are probably, oh, they might be 4 or 5 inches by now. 'Cause I've been
mine's
gone-
not that much.
They grow pretty
I
fast.
put a little, I got some garden now too, but
Got those in April. I've got 3
Oh.
kinds. I've got edible pods. They
Them's
they
good.
get 6 feet high. You gotta have.
but
a
I've
fence.
never had good luck with them here.
You should have the season though. Really, you should have the moisture most of the time. And I've got 2. Well, I got one bush variety that doesn't get very tall. They don't need any support. And then I've got another kind that you need to put a fence out for, so you
Oh.
can climb. And you got to shell them. The wife likes the edible pods real well.
Well, they're good in this stir fry, you know.
bet.
That's what they're so good for.
This year I am going to blanch them a little better when I freeze them. Though. Last time I didn't blanch them good enough.
Quite
so
long
they,
enough?
They turned out to be tough, a little harder to chew.
Uh-huh.
So this time I'll boil them a whole couple minutes anyway.
Yeah. Well, now, is there anything you would like just to say to Paul, you know, if like he was here, why just,
Well, it'd sure be terrific to see you, Paul, because it's been, well, I really don't know how many years. I think you came over to Mom's house, 1 or 2 times.
well, yeah, he always tried to get over to see Neil and your mom when he was home.
gone, I'd be probably in college at that time.
But he just never got there at the time when you was there, I don't think.
I don't think he ever knew my first wife. I don't think you did. I think that was, I was gone for about 5 years. At a time I didn't get home very often.
Uh-huh.
I don't think Paul met my first wife. He didn't miss very much.
Is that right?
What I've
Well,
got now is a jewel.
oh, good.
No, I got the best there is.
That's great. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Well, things turn out pretty good sometimes,
Sure
don't they?
do.
And
No, I don't know what I would do without her. I'd be lost.
that's
I
great.
probably wouldn't find another one like her.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you just find the right one and that's it, and you can be really happy, and I'm
And
glad
we
you
didn't
are.
really plan it. I mean, this deal, it just happened that way. She needed something to do. Well, the kids wanted something to do, and they asked her if they couldn't go to Farmington, which was only about 11 miles, and roller skate.
Oh,
See, I was teaching there. I was teaching skating.
Oh.
I've skated for, well, practically all my life.
is that right? Well, that's good.
Some years I was skating every night, someplace. When I lived around here, I was driving to Peru, I was driving to Wabash, Rock Lake, down there.
Well, I never knew that.
And I'd go to Fort Wayne sometimes, and I went to Columbia City sometimes. I took a lot of lessons.
Well, you can probably do all this fancy stuff, huh? Dancing?
I became professional.
Really?
It was mainly in dancing and then just plain skating.
Oh.
I didn't get into figure skating so much or into freestyle. I did a few spins, but that was not really my specialty.
And you're still doing it?
Well, I'm not doing it now because we don't have any place to skate out there.
Oh, that's
Not
too
close by.
bad.
I used to enjoy teaching little kids how to skate,
Mhm.
and then or even adults if they didn't know how.
Well, that's where we're at right now. I got I got 3 little grandchildren. They're 5, 6, and 7, and they're just starting. They're holding on to the rails, you know.
Oh, that's just the right age. to
And
start.
I said, I just wish we had somebody that could show them. You know, I never skated in my life, and I'd be scared to death. But
It takes a little patience, and then they've got to have the right kind of skates so that they feel comfortable.
well, now we've just rented the skates like they have up there, you know, and I don't know really if they fit just right or what.
Well, they can be adjusted. I used to adjust a lot of skates for kids and say, well, let's loosen those up a little bit or let's tighten them up a little bit, and then you can do what I want you to.
Uh-huh.
And then later on, when you get better at it, well, then you can do what you want to with them, you know. You can adjust them the way you like.
Well, they're just getting nerve enough that, you know, that now the one has got out in the middle, or, you know, has got nerve enough to get out there, but the other 2 still hanging on the rail.
If they could somehow learn to do a 2-foot shuffle, both feet on the floor at the same time, and just move them in and out, and then lean on the wheels a little bit so that they will go easy, you know, in and out.
Well, you see, that's
That
what
would
they
be a
don't.
start.
They don't know.
That would be a start. And then maybe hold on to a rail while they do it,
Uh-huh.
and later learn how to push with one foot and then coast on the other, learn balance on each foot.
Yeah, that's
It would
it.
be so nice to show somebody how to do that. Tell
Oh,
them.
I wish you was
can't
here.
You can't tell someone.
I wish that you would been here and would been able to. We'd went up and you could have showed them some things. That would have been
I
nice.
taught in Farmington for a while until they got a new owner there, and then we didn't get along too well. I guess he was jealous of my students being able to skate so well, and then his kids weren't doing too well, so he wanted them to be in the limelight, and I got kind of pushed out.
Oh, well,
But that's where I
them
met
things
the wife,
happen.
anyway. But I used to enjoy teaching beginners, really,
Oh.
because you can start.
See
with
their
what you want to.
progress and how they enjoy it.
Most of your bigger kids, and well, the bigger one, the ones they want to do everything right away. You see, they want to do fancy stuff right
Oh,
away.
yeah.
And you don't. You can't do that way. You got to learn from the bottom.
Basic, yeah, I'll bet.
Say,
Well,
well, can I do that? You know, and well, no, you're not ready for that yet. You still got to do. You got to learn how to skate forward, and then I'll show you how to go backwards.
mm-hmm.
But you got to be a good forward skater first. It's just like anything else. You got to start at the bottom.
Sure.
And I did it a lot of years, and I had a good background for it. I'd still be doing it if I had a place.
Well, that's too bad that you don't have. Now here is, this is my daughter-in-law, Neil. Oh, that makes you kind of nervous, but he'll just be glad to see that.
Yeah, I'm here with Ivan today.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
From
Everybody's
Gold
got
Creek,
that.
Montana.
That crazy
That-
rock.
That's great. You been pretty good health-wise, Neil?
I just,
Or, I mean,
I had pneumonia, but I guess I get over that.
And she's got it like that. She's got
Hopefully,
bronchitis. My mom's got
Yeah.
bronchitis.
No, I didn't
I
much
just talked
tell,
to,
Well, you look good, and he'll be glad to see you.
Well, he usually, I see him quite a few times when I get back, but haven't seen him
The
in a
one
long
that lives at
time.
Big Lake. What's her
Just
name?
saw him come city one time.
Did you know that Garland Birds had open heart surgery?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes, he had it this past year.
Yeah.
Had, maybe 5 bypasses, something like
I haven't
that.
seen him in years.
hmm
Does he still live around the area?
Yeah, he lives in
Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, and his wife died, and he's had a real time with
It's been
this.
many years since I've seen him.
But now you know Bob Burns is dead
Oh,
too.
yes, I do that.
Bob died. You remember him, don't you?
Well, I sure remember him.
Uh-huh.
He used to come on with Tramp Knit into the vats when we had mince.
Oh, yeah. Well, now his wife lives in Columbia City, so Garland wasn't doing good at all. So she had him come out there, And she just cooked for him and give him nursing care and stuff. And so many people come in to see him, you know, and that done him so much good. And he just got a lot better. So he's home now, and he's taking care of himself, but he's up in his 80s. And,
Well, we're all getting there.
yeah.
I'll be
And
63 this fall.
60, well,
And see, Paul would be...
he was 63. When I was down there, wasn't he? He was born
Where
1927.
did you go?
Well, so was I. I was born in October, so he must have been born a little ahead of me.
He was born May the 9th, 1927.
Okay, and yeah, he was born in May and I was born in October.
So you're-
and then make him just a little...
Bit older? Yeah. Well,
Wouldn't
we
be
had
very
it,
much.
we celebrated his birthday while I was down there. And,
Well, that's great. Well, it'd be all right to see you, Paul. You ever get out to Montana, or if I ever get to South Carolina.
yeah, if you ever do.
You
That'd be
could,
good, Neil.
My address is pretty simple. Yeah, it's really simple. All it is Gold Creek, Montana, 59733. If you say Gold Creek Store, Gold Creek, Montana,
Thursday and Friday evening.
it would get there. If you just said, if you just put my last name on, Johnston, and you said Gold Creek, Montana, 59733, it would get there.
Oh, great.
There is
Well,
no street, there's no box. Well, I've got a post office box. I happen to be the postmaster there too.
well,
And I've got a box 54, but it doesn't really mean that much.
no. Well, I'll bet you'll be hearing from him.
Well, I hope so.
And I'll see that he gets this tape to watch, and that's going to be so interesting to him.
I'll send you a calendar, Paul.
Oh.
I get calendars every year, and I'll just send you a calendar.
Have you got his address?
No, but you can get it.
I'll give it to you. Okay.
Why don't you tell him about Lyle?
Now, yeah, tell him
Yeah,
about Lyle.
Lyle, no, I don't have his address put to memory, but he
Mm-hmm.
lives
Thanks, Pat.
at Charleston, and
Charleston, South Carolina.
I could possibly send you his address.
Oh,
I have it somewhere.
well, now Paul gets to Charleston, and so maybe he could look him up.
Yeah, I'll send you his address, and then you can look him up whenever you have a chance.
Well, now what does Lyle do there?
Well, I think he's an engineer, and
Missile base.
he works at a missile base, I
Oh.
guess.
Really?
I've been years since I'd seen Lyle this last time, so
Mhm.
I'm not really familiar with where he does live, but I know it's in South Carolina, though.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
he lives close to Charleston. Close to Charleston.
I guess he's
What
out of
day is
town a
this
little
gonna be?
bit. His daughter said that it was hard to get out of their driveway, you know, because of the traffic.
Oh,
A little bit
well.
tough.
well, Columbia and Charleston, all them towns there, the traffic's just terrible. I got caught there on that bypass going down there, and you see, I've had an eye operation, and I never dreamt that I could have drove there, but I
You
got
had
caught
a
in it.
cataract, you-
Yeah, I've
I
had-
had one of those about a year ago.
Did you get yours taken off?
My right eye, they took out the lens and put in a
Mhm.
plastic one.
Are you getting along wonderful?
Well, except I did, but now it's beginning to fog over. And I gotta go back and have them cut a hole in the window with the laser.
Really?
The envelope. There's an envelope surrounding the lens, they tell me, and that's what holds the lens kind of in place. Well, the envelope is fogging over, so it's kind of hazy with that right eye. I close my left and it's a little foggy.
Well,
My
now,
left eye is good.
mine is just wonderful, but I got to have the other done too. I figure this winter in January I'll probably go and have it
Well,
done.
yours didn't fog over then.
Well, it
like,
hasn't yet.
He said about 1 out of every 3 who have it done will have
Well,
it.
then, after you have that done, is it good again?
It'll be good again, he says, yeah.
Is that permanent then?
I hope.
Well, I do too.
I don't know what else they could do.
Yeah, I wondered if they could do this more than once, if it, or not.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe you reach the point of no return. Maybe if you got a certain disease with your eye.
Oh,
I don't think I've got any disease. I think it just fogged over.
he said my vision was fantastic in that eye, and I believe it.
Mine was just as clear as crystal at first for a few months. And then it gradually began to haze. And then he looked at it one time when he examined me, and he said, well, I got a slight haze over that envelope. He says about 1 in 3 will get that. So I said, well, what do you do? And he says, well, we just, right in the office, we take a laser, we cut a window in that envelope, and
Oh,
then you can see again. I know people who have had it done. It
well,
only takes them a minute. And the first time you have to go to the hospital, you see, but on this you don't.
You don't. But I went in at 5 in the morning and walked out at 11. I didn't have to stay or
I was in
anything.
about 8:30, and then I think they might have had me in an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
They give you some breakfast after you come out, and
Walk out.
make sure you can still walk. And
Mm-hmm. You have to be careful not to bend over for a
well,
little
I told
while.
that nurse that I felt so good. I said, I'll bet that I could skate out to that door if I had skate. She said, well, yeah, I'll bet you could. I said, I'll bet I could.
I'll bet you could too.
With one eye bandaged up.
Well, now, your health pretty good, Neil?
Oh, yeah, pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah, I've never been in a civilian hospital as an inpatient. Just for that cataract was the only time I ever...
Well, that's
gone out.
wonderful.
And I was in a Navy hospital a couple of times for an ear infection and one time for a fever. They'd given me shots in boot camp. I had to sit right down in ranks. We were out in the field and I had to sit down because I was dizzy and I had fever. And well, then they arranged for me to go to sick bay, and I was in there a few days. But that's really... No, I feel
Well,
great.
that's great. You've had that good of health.
I hope it continues.
I do too.
I don't want to be laid up.
No.
I couldn't go cut wood, and I couldn't make garden, and no, I'm just not made to be sick.
Now, Paul, he likes to raise these Valdelia onions. You know, they do so good. Have you ever tasted those?
I do.
Valdelia?
They sell them up here.
There's you say onions?
Yeah, they're great big, and they're just as sweet as they can be.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried any of those.
I'll have
Does
to
it take
get
a
it.
long growing season for
Well,
those?
you couldn't grow them up there.
Well, now they're adapted to Georgia. I suppose it does.
Yeah, I'd be tough in Montana with the cold nights.
But now they say that if you don't have the right kind of ground, they won't be sweet like that. They'll be hot.
Yeah, very likely. I couldn't grow them anyway. It'd take too long.
Mhm.
See, we get about, let's see, a little bit of May maybe, and then June and July, and then some of August, and that's it. The August nights will begin to cool off,
Well, you couldn't. Well, I don't think we can raise them here either.
and we wouldn't get quite the rain, you see. We got irrigation water, but we wouldn't get the rain that they would there.
Yeah.
Probably sell them groceries.
Oh, that he
You
gets.
can grow Walla Wallas there.
Oh.
They're a pretty good onion. I grew those one year, and then the only thing about Walla Wallas, they will sprout too fast. You can't store them, you gotta eat them. Well, they're good fried though.
Well, Jeannie, this is a friend of Paul's. They was friends together when they were teenagers,
Oh, really?
and he lives
Even
in
before
Montana
that,
now.
I
And
used to walk across the field,
yeah,
and then we'd play Indians or whatever out there in the woods.
you know, our first Christmas tree that we ever had, he come over to your folks. You remember that? And cut it out of the top of one of your pine trees, and drug it clear back, clear across the muck, and everything. And that was the first Christmas tree we'd ever had.
I don't recall the specific occasion, but I know he used to come over a lot of times.
Oh yeah. And then now you got in the Navy, did you?
Got in the Navy. Yeah,
But
we
you see,
went-
Paul didn't.
Paul and I and Bob Gotti, all
Yeah.
three, and Paul knows this.
Yeah, I know.
He knows it. We went to Chicago on
I
the
know
train, and Bob and I failed to get in, and he passed.
Paul.
Paul passed.
Well, you see, Paul didn't get in the Navy, Neil. He got in the Merchant Marines. He was in the Merchant Marines. They wouldn't take Paul either in the Navy.
Well, that's what we went to be examined for, was the Merchant Marines, and
Oh.
he's the only one that passed
Oh.
the exam.
And then later you got in the Navy?
I got in the Navy. Yeah, I failed the first time, but then the next time they took me.
Well, you see, Paul had another year of school. Did you finish your school? Your high school?
I didn't finish it at that time. I finished it in the Navy. I took a GED and then
Oh.
got my diploma. And then came back to school after I got my discharge, 1947.
He was just so bound to go, you know. And he quit school. And that's the only time I ever seen my dad cry in his life. And he pleaded with that boy to go to school, you know, and at least finish high school. And then Paul just wouldn't, you know. He just wanted to get in that. And one time I went on the bus with him to Chicago down there. And he failed that time too. And he was so disgusted and mad, you know.
That was the Navy that time. That was the Navy he was trying to get into.
Yeah.
I see.
And I know I bought him a Coke on the way home and he wouldn't even drink it. He was just so disgusted, you know, he wouldn't talk or anything.
I know, we were talking about the Merchant Marine one time, and I guess that was after I was in the Navy. I think I was home and said, well, I sure wanted in the Navy.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take him.
But you know, he got to go a lot of places. He went to England
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and he was telling me the other day, he was almost to Africa.
I
He
don't
went
know
a
what,
lot of places.
I don't know what his problem would have been in the Navy, unless maybe his eyes weren't good enough or something.
I don't know. I don't remember what it was that they wouldn't take him.
I can't really ask him. I can ask him, but then...
Well, I don't know if he
can't tell me
knows.
right here.
But I don't know if he really knows. I've never heard him say what it was that they wouldn't take him. But he was so but he got his high school too, Neil. He took a correspondence course at home, you know,
Well, that's,
and he got his diploma too.
I studied in the Navy, and then I learned that I could, and then I took a test, and so then when I got home, I was sitting in algebra class at the Columbia City, and Max Gandy was the principal.
Yeah.
He walked in and handed me my diploma.
Aw.
Right, those other kids there were just freshmen, you know. I was taking a freshman algebra course. They walked in and said, well, here's your diploma.
Aw.
Great, you know, and I had just started that year.
Well,
I didn't get in the graduation exercises at the end of the year. I didn't want to, but I did have my diploma, and I want to finish the year out, you know. And well, I can go with some of the girls, and I can do this and that, you know. Have a lot of fun.
why sure. Now, was that algebra hard for you?
No.
Well, it was for me. I had an awful time with algebra.
Then I got into college in Fort Wayne after that, and took some more algebra, and I thought I was going to be an engineer, but I wasn't old enough to go to college. I was interested in girls, but I wasn't interested in college. So I flunked out. I was on probation, and then they just, well, they didn't tell me to leave. I just left on my own. I just was tired of it. I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to settle down and study. That's all. But about 14 years later, I started in again, and then I went all the way through a master's.
Yeah.
Ah.
Now, how many years did you
10
go to school?
years.
10 years?
From 59 part-time to 69, June of 69. I had my bachelor's in 64 at Ball State, mid-year, because I had enough credits.
Gosh, isn't that neat?
So I kept on going full-time at the Ball State and finished up June of 69 with a Master of Arts.
Oh, that's
My
great.
thing was biology and chemistry.
Uh-huh. Now he lives in Montana and got a little general store.
But I don't use it. I taught a little while, and now I don't even forgot about all of it anyway now.
And Jeannie, he skated. Always he likes to teach little kids skating.
Roller skating?
yeah,
Oh, I
he's-
wish he was around
I-
here.
I told him-
Well with him.
I told him, he said them's the ones he likes to work with. It's hanging on the rails.
Oh.
But now
Well,
he
they
doesn't
have
live
to
around
want
here.
to. I mean, if they don't want to. Well, then
Oh, they want to, but they're just
if
great
they're
and don't know.
interested, I had one little girl, she was only 4. Boy, she'd listen and she'd do everything. Boy, she was a good skater. She'd skate backwards with me and do turns and everything before we were done.
Wow, that's
There
great.
was friends of ours out there. She was an adopted girl, and they wanted her to have lessons, and I don't know if she continued to skate or not, but boy, she was good when she was a little girl.
Well, I'll bet she did. She probably did. She's probably still skating. It's just wonderful to have something that you can do well, you know.
I
Like
wish
that.
I could still go.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, if you go into town and go to the rink, well then all they play is rock music,
Yeah.
and all they want to do is speed.
Mm-hmm.
They have not the slightest idea what skating really
No,
amounts to.
they don't. Not anymore.
How beautiful it
My
can
dad
be.
could skate. He could really skate, and they don't do it like that anymore.
I skated for the sake of skating.
Mm-hmm.
I lived it, I breathed it, I slept it.
It's an art. The true skating is an art.
I had precision wheels, I had custom built boots,
Oh,
I had everything just the way I wanted it, and no, I lived it really.
oh, that's great.
And I'm glad I did, because that's the way I met Carol.
Well, and look how thin you are yet. It's kept you thin, and of course,
Well,
maybe you don't
yeah,
have any
that
problem.
kept me thin, plus I just don't cram food like I'm not going to get any more food, you know.
Well,
That's a
now,
good-
Paul's that same way. Dan,
Aye.
this is You know, Neil and yeah. And Neil is a good friend of Paul's. They grew up together. Well, this is, or I keep calling you Neil.
Well, I'm used to it. Everybody does.
This is Ivan, and this is Neil. See, he lives right over here on the next road. Yeah.
Oh.
But he lives right on the next road over there where the Mint Distill was and all them things.
Yeah, well, I'll have to send him Lyle's address.
Well, yeah, maybe you can look him up.
I don't see why not.
I was going to tell you, Ivan.
He didn't live right in Charleston, the close by.
Paul is so thin. You remember how my mother was?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's just like her.
Tall.
He looks like her, and he is so thin. And he says, I said, how do you do it? And he said, well, food's just not important to me. He says, if there's something around to eat, I eat. If there isn't, I don't make no difference.
Yeah, he just wasn't the type that would get heavy, that's all.
Oh, no.
No matter what he eats.
He wouldn't.
He thought like your dad. He was
Well, so what happened to me, I don't know. I must have been some genes way back. Now, I had an uncle, my dad's brother. He was real heavy.
Well, I feel better thin anyway. I could be heavy. I used to be heavy.
My problem is I just really like to eat, you know, and that's what does it.
Is Archie Schultz still living?
What?
Is Archie Schultz still living?
No, he died about, let's see, it'd be probably 2 years.
He moved away from over here.
Yeah, he moved to Fort Wayne, and he was 95
I'll be there.
when he died.
I never saw him after he moved.
Yeah.
Never saw him after he moved.
Well, I'll tell you, have you got a little time, Ivan? I'll show you a little video of Paul, and you can see what he looks like
I've
now.
got a little. It's still on the 10:30.
Yeah, would you?
And we're close to home. So
Yeah.
I'll be taking Alice's car over to her after a while. And
What time will that be? Because I wanted to ask you, is it possible for you to go pick up Ashley? Or
Oh, yeah.
should I wait an hour?
No, I can get her. That'll be 11:30.
Well,
That'll
it'll
be-
be another hour, Dan.
Why make mom do everything always?
That'll be okay.
I'll take Alice's car back to her and then take a
I'll do
UPS
that.
package to town on the way because I don't want to carry all that stuff on the plane. All I have is just a little suitcase and
Yeah.
a jacket, you know, and then send that stuff and then it'll be there later. I'll be there before it will. I'll be there tomorrow noon
Yeah.
and back in Montana again. And then I guess
You
I'll
can
board-
go, Gene, now.
The medication's
Yeah,
not
I'll get-
here, the clock
Okay.
too, okay?
I can get
It
her.
was nice to meet you.
Oh, you bet.
A real treat.
Hope those kids learn how to skate sometime.
Well, I live right over there to the trailer.
Yeah, Fort
I'm
Wayne,
her, I'm her daughter-in-law. I'm married to that
yeah,
tall
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, originally I'm from Japan.
We got one.
That's what you mean if you think I look a little different. But my father was American GI.
I see.
Mhm.
That's right.
Okay.
Come on right away, just as soon as you press
Yeah,
the button.
it takes just a little while to clear up.
Ours has to warm up just a little bit. Anyway, well, it's sure been good to,
Well,
good to see you.
I'll tell you, I'll just write and tell him about this, and if he does get to come, why, I'll show him the movie, and if I don't, why, I'll take
You might
it.
send the video to him.
Well, I could do that,
Yeah,
too.
you get a book rate on that, library rate on sending a video.
Oh, do you? I didn't know
Be
that.
sure you mark it tape on the outside so they won't scan. If they scan it, you see they might run it.
Oh,
Get a
okay.
library rate.
Well, that wouldn't be
I think
so
it's
much.
64 cents for up to a pound, and then it's $1 something after that, but it's a cheaper rate.
Yeah,
you
a
can
person
send-
gets it packed good enough, so it wouldn't...
Yeah, you'd want to pack it good enough.
Yes,
Well,
so-
anyway,
then
hope to see you sometime, Paul.
That's good. Well, you take care, both of you. You too, Neil.
Good to visit with you.
It sure was. And come back again now.
Bye.
It's just been wonderful. Bye. Nice weather, isn't it?
Oh, this is nice. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, it'll be pretty nice back in Montana too now.
But now, you was in on a lot of the rain, I suppose, here, since you've been here.
Well, since I've been here, it's rained just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot.
Well, I was gone during that time, but they said it rained about every day and kind of cold. And
Yeah, hard to dry your clothes out on the line. I know.
oh, yeah, I'll bet. Well, tell Alice I said hello, too. Bye.